Hey guys and girls, this is Alish from GainMediaLab.com. Welcome to my exciting world of live audio mixing. In the Sound Advice series of videos, I talk about all the crucial things I wish ACT members would know about the sound engineer's perspective to make our common goal of having a great sounding show more hassle and tension free. In this one, I will focus on drums and drummers. So, let's go! Whenever I attend webinars, lectures, or seminars by other sound engineers, or even during my teaching experience, most people want to know how to get a great sounding drum. Well, this has to do with the fact that there are so many moving parts to get right in the search of a great sounding drum kit, which means that sound engineers across the globe spend hours and hours of their time getting the sound of the drum just right. That being said, drummers can make our jobs much easier if they know what can help us get there. Here's the most important thing I want you to take away. A great drum sound comes from a great sounding drum. Making sure the drum kit is in perfect working condition is a key element for success. All hardware tightened and checked for unwanted rattling noises, new drum heads, proper tuning, cymbal selection. It can all make or break your drum sound. There's no EQ or exciter or compressor or a magic wand in the world that I have built into the console which can make a dull sounding snare sound right if a drum head is worn out. It is impossible to make it sound great with a bad sound at the source. So, have your drum kit stage ready. Change drum heads regularly. Keep your pedals and the rest of the hardware in top shape. Oh, and don't forget about your drum throne. You would be amazed how many times I had intimate acoustic sets ruined when at the end of an emotional song, a drummer shifts in their chair and there's a loud metallic shriek that ruins the magic for everybody in the room. Don't be that guy, man. You should bring all the tools to adjust the drum kit sound on the spot. I know. You already have tons of gear to schlep around and now I'm asking you to bring more stuff with you? Well, yeah, kinda. I don't want you to go nuts and have another van of gear with you. But here are the essentials that, honestly, you should already be carrying with you. Drum keys for tuning your drums. Now, notice I said keys. If there's an emergency that needs to be addressed or just an adjustment to be made, you need to have one of those puppies in reach at all times. And since they are really prone to accompanying guitar picks to the Bermuda Triangle or wherever things go when they get lost, you should have more than one with you. Secondly, moon gels and other drum head dampening options. Now you might like the long sustaining sound of your toms, but sometimes it just doesn't work when amplified. It can actually lead to feedback. Having proper solutions to address that ringing at the source can prevent sound engineers from using excessive settings on gates, making your drums sound more natural and giving you more dynamic range to play with during your performance. Number 3, cymbal dampening magnets or professional gaff tape that doesn't leave residue on cymbals, and a roll of toilet paper. Now, I don't have to list all of the benefits of having a roll of toilet paper on you. But one of them is that it really works well for dampening overbearing cymbals in smaller venues. You can simply tape a piece of it to the underside of the cymbal, reducing its loudness and sustain. Now, it is advisable to protect your cymbals from unprofessional tape that would leave sticky residue, so bring your own. And don't forget to remove it after every show. Now, if you want to go for the pricier option, you can get the professional cymbal dampening magnets. Whether or not you still decide to bring toilet paper with you is then completely up to you.
Oh, yeah.
Spare drum heads and other spare parts. Now, even if you change your drum heads regularly, it is always wise to have some spares, especially for the snare drum. Live shows are really unpredictable. One wrong move and something sharp and pointy or heavy, or both, might come in contact with the drum head and then damaging it. Although you can prepare for everything, You can bring a show to an end without one of the toms, but probably not without a snare. So have at least a spare head for the snare drum with you. Here's a tip. Maybe have a different type of a snare drum head and change it before a show. That way you can experiment with various sounds and see which one works the best when amplified. Number 5, check cables for all your backing track players, metronomes, mixers, and have all of that in working order. Now, adding backing tracks and metronome lines on top of your already high channel count for a drum kit increases the amount of work needed to get a drummer set up. If we are constantly having signals cutting in and out because of bad cables or plugs, that workload goes through the roof. Also, have your needed outputs and cables properly marked with channel numbers that correspond to your most updated technical writer and names of channels. That way we can keep the guessing game to a minimum and have all our connections done in the least amount of time. Here's a big one. Be aware of your surroundings. If you see a sound engineer or a stagehand setting up microphones on your drum kit, show them respect by not playing when their ears are inches away from an extremely loud sound source. I know that you need to check where everything is positioned and you have to adjust for accuracy and comfort, but waiting 15 seconds until a kick mic is placed and connected before you go on a double kick quest for speed, it will be much appreciated. It is probably the one thing that starts the most bad blood with sound guys even before the gig has started. Trust me, we can mix shows much better if we are not bleeding out of our ears while doing it. At least a heads up warning is in order, so we can maybe wear protective earplugs or simply move away until you are done setting up. Now, I can imagine just how boring it must be to play only the kick drum during soundcheck or only the snare. But I promise you that when I tell you to play a kick drum, I want to hear the kick drum and only the kick drum. So if you decide to go into a crazy beat for the next 16 bars just because you got bored, we will just wind up exactly where we were. Me asking you to play the kick drum because I need to hear, you guessed it, just the kick drum. If you want to help me out, keep your hits consistent and at a volume that you will be using during the louder parts of the show. That allows me to quickly set input gain levels and work out any issues with the drum kit. What I experience on a daily basis is what I call a two-faced drummer. The first personality is present during soundcheck, where the hits are done with an air of, yeah, I don't care, let's just move along attitude. The second one gets revealed during the show, where the drums are now immensely louder with all of the adrenaline rushing in, making you hit harder and effectively making all of the soundcheck work that we've done useless. My advice, even if you're asked to play just one element of the drum kit, imagine playing through a song you really like from the set list as if you were already on a gig. That can help you keep the consistency and have a great sounding drum kit from the top of the show. Let's talk about monitoring and repeat the obvious. Drums are a loud instrument. As a drummer, you should be aware of that and take every precaution to keep your hearing intact. Instead of just buying sound dampening headgear, however, I strongly recommend a good pair of in-ear monitoring earphones that have to be molded to your ear. Now, these custom builds are really necessary if you want to have the low-end information properly present in your mix, and if you want to keep the leakage of your surrounding environment to a minimum. Having said that, I still see way too many drummers wearing IEMs to protect my hearing, only to then blast ungodly amounts of click levels into their ears. So, just as a public service announcement, I feel obliged to say, don't. The best approach seems to be to put the click off-center in your mix, and at such a level that you can only detect it if you are out of sync with it. Now, if you're not wearing earphones and are still relying on wedges, try figuring out what is the lowest level you can work with comfortably. Since the drum kit is mic'd up with so many microphones, the feed from your wedge can get picked up by your overhead microphones, the hi-hat mic, or any other microphone close to your wedge. Especially in smaller clubs and venues, try establishing a good monitoring environment just from bass and guitar amps on stage by changing their position and volume, so that all band members can feel pretty comfortable playing even without monitors. Then just fill in the missing parts, usually keyboards and vocals. It makes for a better playing environment because you can now play more dynamically and better respond to what is going on stage musically. Building a great relationship with your sound engineer starts with these basic tips. Now keep the conversation open and ask if there's anything else you can do on your end to better your sound. After all, you and the audience are placed on the opposite sides of a very loud beast of an instrument, which can sometimes influence the way you perceive your sound as opposed to how everyone else will hear it. Sometimes it will actually come down to a sound engineer asking you to play differently. Can you try playing the hi-hat softer? Seems to be one of the most popular demands. Think about your playing style if these demands are recurring. They can actually provide great tips for your practice sessions and further your skills as a drummer. Okay, this is it for today's episode. Let me know in the comments below if there's something crucial I have missed. And while you're doing that, you can also like the video, subscribe to the channel, and visit gainmedialab.com for more delicious content. Mix great shows. Take care. Bye.